Go from films that are surprisingly coming to films that might be surprisingly going. Now, a little while ago, there was a bunch of excitement as it got confirmed that the Keanu Reeves film Constantine was going to be getting a sequel, something that a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. Now, understand, though, that all happened before, the new regime took over, particularly with taking over DC Studios, James Gunn and Peter Safran, and all the new plans were laid out and all kinds of stuff. Now, it was notable that when James Gunn and Peter Safran made their big announcement about the first stage of the new DCU, and they announced 10 projects, absent from that list was the aforementioned Constantine sequel. And a number of people took note of that. Well, apparently the new reports going around, and it should be said that this has not been confirmed, but according to some reports going around by some sources online and everything, apparently the Constantine 2 sequel has been axed. And it's being suggested that the only real reason it got greenlit in the first place was because it was a desperation play. This is what the reports are saying. Greenlighting Constantine 2 was a desperation play because they had a big window in the release schedule where they had nothing coming out, and they just kind of greenlit Constantine 2 to get it done. And apparently that's now gone. Now, again, there's been no word from Warner Brothers or DC or anything or Keanu Reeves to confirm that the thing has been shelved and canceled. But I will say this, it tracks. I was surprised when they said they were going to do a Constantine 2, because let's face it, the first Constantine did not do great, right?
But I liked it.
It has a lot of people. It has a very loyal core of people who loved the film and remember the film and all that kind of stuff. And Keanu Reeves, good Canadian kid, by the way. Keanu Reeves is as hot as ever right now. So I kind of got it, but I was still a little bit surprised. I'm not surprised that it doesn't fit into the plans of where the DCU is, although you could make the argument that you could make it an Elseworlds kind of project, right? Some people even thought that Swamp Thing might be the door to have Constantine, a lot of things like that. So I will say this, keep in mind that this is not confirmed. I will say, though, that I buy it, because it adds up to me that they would axe this project. I'm not surprised to hear. Again, though, we don't know for a fact. We're going to have to wait till we hear James Gunn, Warner Brothers, somebody make some sort of comment about this. But I kind of believe this report because it makes sense to me. I don't know, Rob, you heard about this. Were you surprised to hear this? And do you think we will actually get a Constantine 2?
One, I wasn't surprised to hear this at all. And two, I don't think that we will. Only because if they're introducing Swamp Thing, Constantine was actually introduced in the pages of Swamp Thing,
right,
Alan Moore's run of Swamp Thing. And the iteration that we saw on TV on Legends of Tomorrow on the one season, the 13-episode short-lived Constantine TV show, was much more in line with the character from the comics. And I think, look, everyone loves Keanu Reeves. And I thought Constantine was a very respectable movie that has grown in stature over the years. It's a good movie. Is it a great adaptation of the comic? It's okay. But I think as a standalone film unto itself, it's pretty good. But I think if they're trying to honor and go back to the roots, the DC roots of all these characters, that Constantine has to loom large over anybody that's taking over the Swamp Thing franchise. Because if they want to use Swamp Thing to lead to the darker arcane realms of the DC universe, Constantine's going to be a part of that. Etrigan, the demon, all that stuff. So I think that they want to keep those characters available to the new regime. And I think, unfortunately, I don't think the movie had a chance once they decided to put Peter Safran and James Gunn in front of to handle this. I think it was immediately a casualty. And it makes sense to me that it is, because they have plans for Constantine.
Do you think we could be getting a new iteration of Constantine? Like, again, with Swamp Thing and stuff like that?
100%.
And you don't think that there's really a lot of a chance that it could either be a situation of going back to the TV Constantine we had, which I don't think there's any chance, or Keanu would be just somebody brand new right off the top? No,
I think they're going to reinvent it along with everything else, because they'll go back to the original Jamie Delano Hellblazer comics. I think that the James Gunn, based on what he's been tweeting and the issues, he's very influenced by the Vertigo books of the 80s. I mean, Sandman was one of them. Constantine, Hellblazer, the comic, came out of Swamp Thing. And those Vertigo books are probably a huge influence on James Gunn. So he probably wants to go back to the Constantine comic was hardcore. That was a hardcore, R-rated, terrifying, really disturbing comic book. And I think that they're going to want to go back into that direction. When they go horror, with Peter Safran already having the Conjuring universe, I think Swamp Thing and everything that comes out of it's going to be very hard R, real hell's a poppin' horror that we haven't seen before in comic book movies. And I think they definitely would take Constantine in that direction.
Right, and just have it be their clean slate, own new iteration of the character. That makes sense to me. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? And again, it has to be said for a fifth time. This is not confirmed. We have not heard this from Warner Brothers, but there are whispers going around that Constantine 2 has been canceled. Do you believe that? Do you think they'll do it? Or do you think they'll just want to start with a brand new, fresh Constantine? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, DraftKings. Are you ready for the biggest Sunday in sports? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl LVII, has all the Super Bowl action you need. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get in on the Super Bowl LVII excitement with DraftKings Happy Hour Super Boosts. Check the DraftKings Sportsbook app every day between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see what prop bet will be boosted. Going into Super Bowl LVII, I think you got to look at the Philadelphia Eagles as taking home the big prize. Keep your eye on Jalen Hurts. He's going to be the difference maker in the game. So guys, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code Campea. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl LVII and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Campea. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.